Hey guys, so today we have the Tsunehisa, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, excuse me, 175 millimeter Bunka in AUS 10 steel, which if I did my research correctly is kind of like AEBL or kind of VG10, that whole kind of stainless market. I've had this knife for probably 2 months, and I've used it at work primarily. And today is the 1st of May, and this is the first time I put an edge on it. Not to say that I probably couldn't have, 2 weeks ago or something like that, but just really get the edge to where I was like, okay, it needs it. And so I just gave it its first sharpening on Shapton Glass 1K, then Nubatama 6, and Fujiyama 8K, and leather finish. The knife, as you can tell, is a Kadetsky style with the tip there. Spine is pretty much sub 2 mils all the way until you hit the probably right about here. Then it just tapers down to super thin. Very thin, very light, like very, very light. So if you are a fan of lasers, or if you tend to like lighter knives, or do a lot of prep personally, personally I prefer a light knife if I'm doing a lot of cutting. That being said, it held up for in a professional kitchen for, under me for that long. So it, I've had no issues with it. I will say, if you aren't used to this style tip, do watch out, because you can nosedive it if you tend to rock with it, because it can get caught. So just a little leery on that. It is a Damascus finish, so little bling and nice polish on it. Out of the box edge was really nice. From what I gather, it's just more of a micro bevel edge on it, which, I mean, I think it only took me 2 passes on a 1K stone to fully set it. So if you don't like that out of the box, in sub 10 minutes you can easily retool it to your taste. But a very, very good knife for its price. I mean, I think it was like $140 or something like that, somewhere along those lines. And if you're looking for a smaller knife, like line usage, or even better is if at home, where somebody who doesn't like big knives, this is one you really should consider. Having said that, we have tomato, potato, zucchini, and of course the onion to test out the knife with today. See how its edges, non-stick properties, and performance overall is. Without further ado, so not bad for for a tomato, not bad for a skin. And considering, this isn't chromium oxide and all that other, kind of finish. So it's not like a super fine edge, but it'll easily get your job done, and that's, I mean, let's see if we can, so, and that's all that, within a span of a few seconds. Again, for those who are watching, doing this on maple is not going to damage your edge, or if it by some happenstance does and you get your undies on a wad, run it over a quick stone and it'll be quite just fine. You will not wreck your knife, I assure you. Now, if you do that with a block of frozen peas or a bone, do so at your own risk. I've seen the horrors of that. Then yes, you will mess up your edge. Doing that, it won't. Having said that, we move on. Just wanted to get that out of the way. I've had that come up a few times, and I know it's like beating a dead horse, but hey, sometimes you have to say it on the obvious. So, potato. So we're going to try the non-stick. And, I mean, and also, like I've said before, with thin knives, that's kind of the good thing about it, is it doesn't have to be super sharp for it to actually still drop through product almost. Just because thicker knife, more axe-like, and it breaks it. This thin, less resistance, and I'm certain there's somebody who's more apt to tell you about this than me, but I mean, that's just what I go off of. So, having said that, non-stick, and see what we're looking at here for that. So, not bad. And this was a russet. Not bad for non-stick. So, that wasn't too bad for a potato. But yeah, I had been wanting to try this steel for some time. Again, life bogged down, and other things cropped up, so I just kind of I stopped doing reviews for a little bit because, again, life. But I mean, I'm fairly impressed with this brand. I mean, just spoiler alert, I did buy the 240 version of this, so that review will be coming down the pipe here in some point in time. Zucchini. Yeah, you can just see this. And I didn't, in all my uses, detect too much of it veering one way to the other. It's, even though it is, it's kind of hard to tell here, thin, it's, at least to my untrammeled eye, hasn't veered too much to where, you'd have to, re-straighten it a little bit, which, sometimes you have to do that too. But I will say this knife is a very good joy to work with if you have to do slightly more detailed work. Just because it is, thinner, lightweight, and can handle the smaller tasks a little bit better than a chef knife, personally. As you can see here, I believe we just brewed a good portion of zucchini there. Sorry about the sniffles and all that. I'm getting over a little bit of a cold and such. But yeah, this is not much pressure. You know, there's no, no having to really put a lot of force behind it because, it is a thin enough grind, as I've said, to where you don't have to exert that much pressure like with some knives, like it's an axe grind. This is a laser, so you don't have to exert as much. It's more of letting the knife do the work. And let's see what we can do here. Just slowly moving down the knife here so you can see how it kind of goes. So, again, for stickage, not too bad. Especially, considering the price point of it. So, wipe off everything here. Clean workspace, people, please. Alright, guys, so last one, as you always know, gonna end on a high note. Yeah, even now it's still, you can feel just, how sharp this is. Even though, we've gone through all this already, it hasn't lost, it hasn't plateaued as much, if that, makes some sense there to where, you've lost all that initial sharpness edge, which personally, that's kind of what happens when you do like the whole insane high grit finish edge, like the 50,000 or whatever. You tend to lose you're gonna lose that initial sharpness fast, just because it's you're not shaving with it. You're gonna impact whatever cutting board you're using. So as a lot of you know, as I have experimented with that over the years, and I've just come to the conclusion that just using stones and some strop and just a leather strop is kind of all you need. But to each their own. I know everybody likes doing their own thing. I'm not saying anything's better than the other, just my preference. So, like I say, if you have a little bit bigger product, it's doable, but for small to medium size, awesome knife for its price. But thanks, guys.